$2 in a coffee can save a whole hunting camp morning. Old timbermen knew this. Modern campers forgot it on purpose. A cotton ball soaked in petroleum jelly burns for 9 minutes. 9 minutes of steady flame in cold rain, in wet wind, in snow. Long enough to dry tinder. Long enough to start the real fire. Long enough to save a hunter who came back to camp soaked through. And the whole fire kit fits inside a tin can on the cabin shelf. The outdoor industry buried this method for one simple reason. They cannot keep selling $40 fire starter kits each year if a $2 coffee can already does the same exact job. This is the story of the cheap fire kit that humbled the brands, and this is the kit every hunting camp in America should keep. Welcome to Silent Hunt Society, the home of buried campcraft. If forgotten outdoor truth matters to you, subscribe and bell. This is where we bring old hunter knowledge back into the light. Now back to the coffee can that should sit by every cabin door. The year was 1971. Northern Maine deer camp. A guide named Walter Briscoe ran a 4-cot tent on Moose River. A storm rolled in on opening morning and soaked every single match. The kindling was wet. The bark was wet. The wood pile was wet. 3 of his hunters stood shivering by the dead fire ring at dawn. Walter walked to the cabin shelf and pulled down an old coffee can. Inside the can sat 20 cotton balls coated in petroleum jelly. He pulled one ball out, pulled the fibers apart with his thumb. He set it in the wet ring, struck a match, touched the cotton. The flame held strong for nearly 9 full minutes in the open rain. By minute 4, his wet kindling was hissing. By minute 6, lit. By minute 8, the main fire was alive. The cot men had heat. Walter never ran another camp without that can sitting on the shelf. Word spread through the Maine guide network across the 70s, then through the Adirondack outfitters, then to the Smoky Mountains. Trappers in the boundary waters started keeping cans in their packs. Even the Forest Service taught the method in field training schools. The science was already old by then. Jelly is a heavy hydrocarbon. Cotton fibers wick the jelly slowly into the open flame at the top. Slow burn, steady flame, wind resistant, water resistant when sealed. No batteries, no fuel bottle, no moving parts, just basic chemistry. And cheap. So cheap that a working man could prep 50 in one night. Then the gear industry grew. The fire kit aisle got bigger every year. The coffee can got pushed out of the catalog, forgotten, replaced. Replaced by spark rods, by gel packs, by $40 tinder boxes. The cotton ball method got rebranded as a kid scoutcraft project, not for serious hunters, not for deer camps, not for cold rain. And just like that, the best fire kit in America became invisible, but the old guides never stopped using it. They just stopped saying. Now listen, because what comes next is the part that matters most. This video is just the surface of what the gear catalogs buried. I gathered every old method the outdoor industry tried to erase, all inside the complete Forbidden Hunter's vault, the full set. Deadwood firecraft that lights wet timber even in winter rain, the sub-zero furnace built from scrap and $3 items, the invisible camp protocol that keeps your presence off the woods, ghost scent methods that make whitetail miss your every step, forgotten whitetail funnels that still produce shots each fall, the Appalachian meat cache for storing harvest without a freezer, 8 powerful modules in one place, no fluff, no filler stuff. This is not a wish list. This is a duty for any serious hunter. The link is at the very top of the description. Open it right now. You owe it to your camp, your fire ring, and the seasons coming next. But stay right here, because the science part starts in a moment, and the numbers behind this little cotton ball will surprise you. What the jelly really does inside the cotton is almost unfair. Burn time was studied by the United States Forest Service field labs. They tested the jelly cotton ball against 12 other tinder types. Plain cotton burned 12 seconds, dry pine shavings 8 seconds. Birch bark burned for 90 seconds in good dry timber conditions. The jelly cotton ball burned for an average of 7 to 9 minutes. That is over 5 times longer than the next best natural tinder. And the cotton ball did not care about wet weather around the fire. A jelly cotton ball lit clean even after sitting in a wet pack pocket. A spark rod alone fails when your kindling is soaked through by rain. That is the gap nobody on the gear shelf ever wants you to know about. The math gets worse for the brands when you stack the real numbers. 20 cotton balls and a small jar of jelly run under $2. A factory tinder cube box runs around $40 at the gear store. The cube box gives you maybe 40 cubes. Each one burns 4 minutes. The coffee can gives you 20 balls. Each one burns 9 minutes. You get more total burn time for 1/20th of the price tag cost. Tested by guides in northern Wisconsin during freezing November rain. Tested by elk camps in the Cascades through wet October snowstorms. Tested by every old-timer who refused to throw the coffee can away. The pattern is the same in every test from every hard-cold region. Cheap soaked cotton beats expensive fire kits when the weather turns. Now if you made it this far, you already know more than most campers. Most hunters will keep buying the next gearbox every single season. You will not. You will keep $2 in a can and never run dry. Subscribe so the next buried camp method finds you when it drops. Share this with the buddy who keeps overspending on tinder boxes. And remember, the full vault link sits at the top of the description. Now stay with me. The next part is the one the brands really hate. So why does almost nobody talk about this little coffee can kit? Why did this method disappear from the front of every gear catalog? The answer is not a mystery. The answer is the business model. The outdoor industry makes billions selling layered fire dependency. A new tinderbox every fall, a new spark rod every other season, a new gel pack pouch for the blind, a new cube box every November. The cheap jelly cotton ball threatens that whole money pipeline. You cannot patent a cotton ball. You cannot trademark plain jelly. You cannot lock away a kit that costs less than a small coffee cup. You cannot create yearly upgrade cycles around an old tin can. The whole gear model depends on confusion and constant upgrade. This little coffee can represents everything that model truly hates. So it had to be mocked, pushed aside, buried in the back aisle, repackaged as a cute kid scout craft, not for serious deer camps, never marketed to hunters, never marketed to working campmen, never put on the same shelf as the $40 tinder cube boxes, because the truth was too dangerous for the catalog business model. A man with a coffee can on his shelf does not need their stuff. A camp with 20 balls in a can does not need their cube box. A hunter with a ball in his pocket does not panic in cold, soaked rain. And a hunter who does not panic does not buy out of fear later on. That is the real reason this method was pushed deep into the shadows, not because it failed, because it worked too well for too cheap. Now here is what every hunter listening should do this very week. Step 1. Grab a clean, empty coffee can with a tight plastic lid. Any standard-sized can works. The kind from the grocery store shelf. Wash it out. Dry it well. Set it on the cabin shelf or your bench. Step 2. Buy 1 bag of plain cotton balls, about $2. Buy 1 small jar of plain petroleum jelly, about $1 more. Total spend lands near $3 for a kit that lasts the season. Step 3. Scoop a small dab of jelly into your hand. Warm it up. Take 1 cotton ball, roll it between your palms with the jelly. Work the jelly through the cotton until the ball is fully coated. Do not soak it dripping. A heavy, even coat is what you really want. Step 4. Repeat for 20 cotton balls. Drop each one in the can, press the lid down tight. Label the can with a black marker pen. Step 5. Put the can in your camp, or your truck, or your pack. Carry 1 or 2 balls in a small zip bag inside your hunting vest. That is the full system. 20 balls, $3, ready to burn. To use it, pull 1 ball out. Pull the fibers apart with your thumb. Fluff it open until the inner cotton shows. That is the ignition core. Set it down. Touch a match or a spark to the open fluffed center. Watch it catch instantly. Watch it hold steady flame for 9 minutes. Build your kindling teepee around the burning ball. Let it dry wood. By the time the ball burns out, your real fire is alive and warm. Compare that to a $40 tinder cube box from the gear store. Compare that to a $20 gel fire starter pack on the shelf. You just covered the same camp problem for under $3 flat. And the system works whether you hunt Vermont or western Wyoming. A backwoods outfitter in Tennessee named Earl Mathis still does it. He runs an 8-cot camp every November on the eastern ridgeland. A coffee can sits by his cabin door from opening day through close. He has not lost a morning fire to wet weather in over 30 seasons. That is what buried fieldcraft looks like when somebody keeps it. Earl hands a small zip bag of 3 balls to every new hunter at camp. He calls it the cheapest fire insurance any deer hunter can ever own. He is right, and the math proves him right, every single November dawn. Now I have to be honest with you about one real limit of this method. The jelly cotton ball is a tinder. It is not a fuel for a long burn. It buys you 9 minutes to dry your wood and start the main fire. It does not replace dry kindling. It does not replace good split wood. You still need a wood pile. You still need a knife. You need a pan. The coffee can is the multiplier, not the source. Respect that part. But used right, $3 carries the load of much costlier kits. And every hunter who learns this carries an edge most never will. This knowledge did not die out there in the deep Maine timber camps. It only waited for somebody willing to bring it back into the light. If this video changed the way you think about your campfire ring, subscribe right now and share it with the buddy who needs it most. Every share keeps one more buried hunting method alive for the fall. And every hunter with a coffee can owes nothing to the gear lobby. The full Forbidden Hunters Vault link sits at the top of description. Open it, read it, use it. This is not optional for the serious hunter. This is the duty you owe your camp, your fire ring, and next season. The next vault opens soon, and what is inside it hits even harder. Until then, keep $3 in a coffee can and stay warm there. The buried truth is back, and it is staying back. One ball at a time.